Once again, the media has beclowned itself in its desperate attempt to spin some kind of narrative, usually based on the idea that the orange man is bad. In this instance, we've seen evidence now that there is some strange goings-on with the Obama administration. Michael Flynn, Donald Trump tweeted out Obamagate, sparking this major viral trend, and a bunch of articles then started popping up. What is Obamagate? Many of you may not be familiar, but to give you the gist, because apparently they're mad that Trump wouldn't. It's basically that that Barack Obama was involved in spying on the Trump campaign or was seeking to sabotage the new administration as it was coming into power. Now we see this story from Vox, and you're gonna love this because I'm gonna tear apart Vox and CNN in this one. And it turns out, I don't want to bear the lead on this one, Joe Biden knew. We know that Biden knew because we know that Obama knew because we heard from the released transcripts that both Obama and Biden were in this meeting where somehow they knew about an investigation into Michael Flynn that had no real investigatory basis. Joe Biden, in an interview, at first said he had no idea. When he was then called out saying, you were in that meeting, he goes, oh, well, yeah, I did know. So I'll give a shout out to some media. This is ABC's Good Morning America for actually pushing back on this one. But let's take a look at some of this great Vox and CNN coverage, and I will explain to you how the media is trying very hard to spin a yarn. It took one question for a reporter to expose Trump's latest baseless Obama conspiracy theory. Oh, man, I just love it because when you get the facts and they're so desperate, they just slap on conspiracy theory. Okay, fine. I guess you can call it a conspiracy theory, but please back off. Let's read. Monday's news conference ended with Trump melting down in response to questions from female reporters. I just want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. Female reporters. Oh, Trump. Look, Trump has threatened to walk out on press conferences before, and he did it now. I did a segment on this, so I'm not going to repeat it, but check this out. They say on Monday, a reporter exposed President Donald Trump for yet again peddling a nonsensical conspiracy theory about Barack Obama. Hours after Trump posted a string of tweets and retweets about Obamagate, a new conspiracy theory. Oh, it's just so painful to read. I'm sorry. Obamagate has been around for years. The hashtag Obamagate has been on Twitter and various websites for years. It's not new, dude. Do some Google searching, why don't you? He says it's a new conspiracy theory that holds Obama responsible for masterminding the Russia investigation and railroading former Trump administration National Security Advisor Michael Flynn into a guilty plea for lying to the FBI. Never mind that there's no evidence of investigatory misconduct. What are you talking about? There is. This is so painful to read. Vox, it's Aaron Rupar, isn't it? You gotta fire this guy. Did he not do like the Wall Street Journal talks about this, and they have substantially more credibility than you do. This is laughably wrong. Now, is it labeled as op-ed? No, it's just published. They don't do that. Let me tell you. Notes have emerged that said they wanted to get Michael Flynn fired. You want to talk about misconduct? Explain to me why an FBI agent's investigating somebody to get him fired. That makes no sense. I would call that misconduct. But sure, you have your opinion. Philip Rucker of the Washington Post called it Trump's bluff. Man, you know what? In one of your Mother's Day tweets, you appeared to accuse President Obama of the biggest political crime in American history by far. Those were your words. What crime exactly are you accusing President Obama of committing? And do you believe the Justice Department should prosecute him? Rucker asked during a news conference that was ostensibly about the coronavirus. Trump had nothing. Obamagate. It's been going on for a long time. It's been going on from before I even got elected. And it's a disgrace that it happened. And if you look at what's gone on, and if you look at now all this information that's being released, and from what I understand, that's only the beginning, some terrible things happened, and it should never be allowed to happen in our country again. Aaron goes on to say, of course, Obamagate does not involve a crime, and there's no evidence that Obama or his top officials conspired against Trump. Quite the opposite. So when Rucker pressed the point by asking what exactly the ostensible crime was, Trump resorted to smears. You know what the crime is. The crime is very obvious to everybody. All you have to do is read the newspapers, except yours. Well, that's a good spicy comeback, except yours. But Trump really didn't provide a good answer at all. And I don't think the reason is because there's no conspiracy. There is. It's all over conservative media. And it's funny that I have to say that because, yes, left-wing media, regular mainstream media, whatever you want to call it, they don't cover this. Now, Donald Trump could have given a better answer, and I think for the most part, he just wasn't prepared to give one. There are a few possibilities, if I was going to be fair. Maybe he's trying to not say too much because of the legal ramifications of what's to come. Or he's caught off guard by a question about the specifics of Obamagate, and he didn't want to get into it because he'd have to go through specific points. It's a pit trap. If Donald Trump says something slightly off, they'll call him a liar, so he gave this vague non-answer. Yeah, welcome to politics. Listen, there is evidence... and it's getting strange, okay? Right now we're hearing that Obama administration officials are being, their names are being declassified and unmasked against Flynn. There's a lot of complicated stuff here. And it's not for lack of wanting to answer. I mean, I think the challenge is there's so many moving parts to this. But I'll give you a small breakdown. Peter Strzok told the FBI to keep the investigation against Flynn open, even though there was no basis for this and he was cleared. In an informal meeting, Michael Flynn didn't realize he was being investigated. They told him that he lied because he may have gotten details wrong, even though they had said previously they didn't think he lied. They then apparently went after him and said they would go after his kid unless he pled guilty. Okay, unless he pleaded guilty. So there you have some semblance of what's going on with Obamagate. Now, Obama gets involved because according to released transcripts, somebody, Sally Yates, was in a meeting where Obama brought up details of the investigation and was shocked to find out. In fact, so shocked that Obama knew about this, she couldn't even process what was being said. Then Joe Biden was challenged on this. And at first he tried saying, I was unaware. I know nothing about the moves against Flynn. ABC anchor George Stephanopoulos, the former aide to Bill Clinton, pressed Biden, noting he was present in the meeting. And then he says, I thought you asked me whether or not had anything to do with him being prosecuted. What? No, it's not. What? You said investigated, you crazy person. Yeah, Biden backpedaling. But let me tell you what I love about the media beclowning itself. First of all, Vox, seriously? This is what you've put out? This is like the most insane fake news I've ever seen. Here's my favorite part. You see, Donald Trump was having a press conference about the coronavirus. And you'd think the media and its nobility would talk about the coronavirus. But no, they had to bring up this stupid obsession with Michael Flynn. Now, what kind of journalist is going to do that? Harumph, I say. You know what? I agree with Brian Stelter. Vox is trash. See, Brian Stelter called out Vox specifically because they care more about Michael Flynn than they do. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not true. What's that? Brian Stelter rips right-wing media for obsession with Flynn case as coronavirus death toll rises. Oh, I was confused for a second because CNN was dragging conservatives because he said that conservatives were more concerned with Flynn than the coronavirus. Yet I thought Vox was a left-wing outlet. So we must now be discovering that Vox is right-wing propaganda? You get the joke I'm trying to make. Vox wrote an article complaining about Donald Trump not giving the right answer. It's not so much Vox, it's all the press. CNN pretends that right-wing media only cares about Michael Flynn. When these CBS and CNN journalists, this is my favorite part about all this, you actually have CNN and CBS journalists getting into this controversy with Trump at the Rose Garden where he storms out. But Vox is here writing about how one of these press correspondents, White House correspondents, was questioning Trump on the Flynn case. It's almost like these journalists care more about Michael Flynn than they do about the coronavirus. And this is how you can tell that the media is just fake news, particularly Brian Stelter. Man, you know, I've known that guy for a while, and he didn't used to be so bad, but he's really just become like, I don't want to say he's Kim Kardashian because I'd be giving him too much credit. I mean, like, she's really high profile, but maybe one of like the lesser Kardashians. Brian Stelter is the equivalent of one of the lesser. Is there a lesser Kardashian? I don't know. Who are those? Whatever. I don't know anything about these people, but you get my point. Brian Stelter is a low-tier reality TV host that plays politics and pretends to be talking about things that are relevant. These right-wing media obsessed with Flynn. Dude, the White House press corps, they're asking the same questions. So how about you get off your high... Oh, I'm sorry. You're a fictional show. It's entertainment. I get it. Rachel Maddow said the same thing when she was challenged. I'm pretty sure that she used it's just entertainment defense when they put out all this fake news. You know what, man? If you don't want to tell people the truth, just come out right away and say, put a disclaimer on the screen. The information in this show is fake. Here's the thing. Let me tell you. You've seen these YouTube videos where people pretend like they stage these pranks. Someone will be like, they'll tie a rope to a bike And then the guy will jump on the bike and then fall off the bike. And they're like, oh, I got you. You tried to steal the bike and I caught you. Hoo-hoo. The reality is those are fake. It's staged. But when people know it's staged, they're not interested in watching anymore. So now there's a bunch of rules coming out where they have to put disclaimers in because you can't prank people this way. And they say, these are just actors. None of it really happened. Nobody cares. They're like, oh, I thought it was real. That's not fun. It's just a staged thing. That's what would happen if Brian Stelter told the truth. If he said, a thing flashing in the corner, the information presented in this program is hyperbolic nonsense, exaggerated and fake, nobody would care to watch it. So he needs to create this air of reality. The media, I give you the beclowning. Now, I know it's hard for them to beclown themselves because they're already beclowned. So it's like clowned squared. It's like, I just want you to imagine them putting on clown makeup and then only like every other day, instead of taking the makeup off, they just keep putting more and more on and they look more and more absurd. Let me wrap this up for you. Joe Biden had to backpedal because he knew about the Michael Flynn stuff. There's weird goings on in this case. Definitive evidence of anything? Well, we're going to hold our horses and we're going to wait and see what happens. But Vox writes this just complete trash, and it flies in the face of statements from other anti-Trump media, and you get it. Not every single bit of journalism is trash today, because I will give a shout out to Mr. George Stephanopoulos for pushing back on Joe Biden. I just mean to say that they tend to do a really bad job in their obsession with hating Trump. I'll leave it there. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.